Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How are you? I hope you've been good. I've been good too. Today actually nimekuja tupige story because there's this story that I've been wanting to tell for the longest time. It's the story of the birth and delivery of my newborn, and it's not the kind of story that most of you expect ati nilienda hosi na nikatoka. Actually, it's a story that the birth and delivery of my baby is a story that I can say that it's an experience that made me feel quite vulnerable, and like at some point I felt like I was losing control. So I thought it was good that I share this story with you so that I can also encourage you, and possibly you can pick a few things, one or two from me. So actually, I was supposed to have my baby. My baby was due on the 9th of December, but that day I didn't feel like there was anything happening that needed me to go to the hospital. So I was with my mother-in-law, and I had a scare on the 1st of December because I went for my last checkup, and when I went, they did a scan, they did all the blood and urine tests, and they told me everything was okay. But they told me something that really scared me. They told me that I was in labor. And to be honest, I didn't feel like I was in labor. So I'm not going to mention the hospital where I went on the 1st for my final checkup, but the doctor there told me, I think you should go to the hospital where you intend to give birth, and you need to go with everything that the baby will need. So I called my mom-in-law, and she told me, just go to the hospital like you have been told. And when I went there, I was sent straight to the gyna, and the gyna in that hospital where I had planned to give birth told me, you are not in labor, so just go home, wait for your due date on that 9th, and if you don't feel anything by then, you can come back and I'll induce you. So I decided to go home, but that night at around midnight, my mother-in-law came because she was really scared also when I told her I was in labor, what I had been told in hospital. So she came and we stayed together. So when the 9th came and I wasn't feeling anything, I told her that we are not going to go to the hospital on that day because I wanted my delivery to be super normal, like to be normal. I didn't want to get induced. I didn't want to go to CS until it was warranted. So on the 20th we wake up. Now I'm one day past due, and when we went out with my mom-in-law to consult with someone, and the lady told us that if you were due yesterday, you should be in the hospital right away. So you just go home and go to the hospital. That is the best thing that I can advise you to do. So we get here, we cook lunch. I didn't feel like going, so I was just here mark timing. So mother-in-law ananiambia, unajua unafaa kuenda, tunaenda hospitali leo, and I was like, ni mapema tu tutaenda because I don't feel like I'm in labor. So tukaenda to OC, and then we go to the gyna there. Wananiambia, if you are due tomorrow, ebu enda upimwe njia, and you know, if you have given birth, you know that that stage is quite uncomfortable, but you have to do it. So I went, and to my surprise, the nurse there told me that actually nilikuwa nimedilate 5 centimeters. So I was not only in labor, but in active phase of labor. So they admitted me immediately, and they told me it was around 5, so they told me by 8 your baby will be here, by 8, 9 your baby will be here. So I was very happy, to be honest, but I was shocked because I wasn't feeling any pain, because this is my second baby, and I expected to feel like I felt in the first instance, because with my firstborn, I felt pain move from the front part of my stomach to the back, and my mother-in-law told me that is actually labor. So this time I wasn't feeling anything. I go to the hospital, and they are telling me, you know what, Faith, you are 5 centimeters dilated and you are in active labor, so just pay the deposit and you are admitted. So huyo nurse akafungulia maji. So like I got in the labor ward straight away, and they gave me some medication, I think, to manage pain, and they told me, the nurse I was assigned to, because everybody there was being assigned a nurse, the nurse I was assigned to told me, I'll be, you tell me every time you feel like your pain is increasing. But little did I know that the moment he told me that my pain should increase, despite that the fact I didn't feel any pain, I psychologically, like, I got prepared psychologically, and every time he would check my baby and then check me, I would and ask me, do you feel like your pain is increasing? I was like, yes, my pain is increasing. But the truth of the matter is the pain wasn't increasing. I was just like, it was just a mental situation. I felt like the pain was increasing, but it wasn't. So when 8 p.m. came and I was there, they told me, I think your baby was supposed to be here at this time, because this is your second baby, you should dilate quite faster than the first time. So within 3 or 4 hours, your baby should be here. So at 8, they checked me and told me that I had not dilated even for a single centimeter. I was still at 5. So they told me, I think that we need to help you. And helping you meant that they needed to induce me. I was shocked at first, because there was a lady I found there who told me, let me tell you, my friend, don't accept that induction thing. It's the worst pain you can ever withstand. So I was afraid, but at the same time, I didn't have a choice. So I told the nurse, it's okay, you can induce me. And akaleta yo dawa, akanidunga, like, and I was there, and in like 30 minutes I didn't feel anything, but in like 45 minutes I was sweating profusely, like nilikuwa nimesweat, nilikuwa in pain. I didn't know what happened in 45 minutes, and a lot can happen in 45 minutes, because I felt like, wah, hii pain imetoka tu, like ilikuwa 10, saa hii imeenda like 150, sio 150. So I was telling the nurse, I feel like you need to remove this thing, the medication, the drip, hiyo drip ilikuwa na maji. So I was telling him, ebu toa hii kitu, because the way I'm feeling, no, I'm not feeling good, and I was sweating. Every minute I was asking my sister-in-law, what time is it? And she came to tell me later that she had been lying to me, because she told me I was asking what is the time after every 1 minute, because she didn't want me to get faint-hearted. She was lying to me, telling me adding 10 minutes every time I was asking, but in real sense there was nothing like 10 minutes gone. Alikuwa tu ananidanganya like time inasonga, but haikuwa inasonga. So I called the nurse and told me, you know what, I feel like I can't stand this pain anymore, and I feel like my baby is here. So the nurse told me, no, Faith, the baby isn't here yet. So I kept walking with my drip there. And she, you know, when you're in labor, you're told that when you feel like going for a long call, you shouldn't go. You just call your nurse right away. And mind you, the nurse will always walk with you. So I was there with the nurse telling him, I want to go to the loo. And she's like, no, just get on the bed. So I got on the bed, and my baby was there like in after an hour now after the induction. So I got in that bed, and everything I had Googled about giving birth, breathing in and out, pushing, disappeared. So I'm there being taught how to push, being taught, like, it just happened. You know, with giving birth, I realized that you can never be like a pro. You get there and the pain messes your head up, and like psychologically you are prepared, but now when the real thing comes here, you forget everything. So the nurse was telling me, breathe in, and then I was like, I don't know how to time the contraction and the breathing in and out. I was missing things, so I wasted my first contraction, the second one, the third one, because I was tense, I was in pain. But the fourth time, the nurse told me, you know, you need to breathe in and out and just let this thing happen. So I mastered that, and I pushed through, and my baby came. The moment I felt my baby on the chain, like the pain was now disappeared. And then, yeah, I felt good after my baby after I delivered my baby safely. Now I realized that there was panic in the room, because they tried to clean me, and then they realized that I was bleeding, and one of the nurses was trying to call everybody, the doctor and the other nurses, to come and intervene. So they put me under medication, and I was there in the bed asking them, is everything okay? They were telling me, you know what, Faith, you need to concentrate on yourself because the baby is safe now. You just need to get through this and you'll be okay. So they explained that I was bleeding and I needed to be some intervention immediately. So they were calling the doctor and the doctor was not like responding because they needed help, and they put me under medication immediately and I was not responding. So while I was there, I felt, while on that bed, I was praying and asking God, am I going to die? You know, when you're in, when you lose your locus of control, like you are like, what is happening here? It's out of your control. So I was praying that, telling God, I need to live through this. I need to stop bleeding. And after like 20 minutes, the doctor came and they were preparing to take me to the theater because they said that if I didn't stop bleeding, I needed to be examined in the best way possible so that they could establish, was it a rupture in the uterus or something that was pretty serious. So the doctor came and realized that I didn't need to go to the theater because I was responding to the medication, but they were calling it something like a catheter, something like that, so that I could go to the toilet because it was ni kama mfuko ya mkojo, where you don't need to go to the toilet because I needed to rest, like total bed rest. What are you doing? Hapana. So like nyamaza baby, nyamaza. So like they just took me, they carried me to my bed and they told me that you should not move at all. So I was there at rest all the time. I was sleeping. They helped me breastfeed the baby and they took her away for the whole night. But throughout all this period, I felt at some point like I was giving up, especially the 30 minutes that lapsed in the bed when I couldn't get any positive response and they were all running up and down trying to get everything under control. But at the end of the day, the bleeding stopped. I was sent to my bed and they watched me overnight because I had a nurse there 24/7 watching every time, looking whether the bleeding had subsided. And the bleeding at the end of the day ended, and after a day they sent us to the normal ward where my baby and I were reunited again, and they were to observe me and the baby for another 24 hours. So we stayed there for some time for the day, and they told me that the baby was okay. They also so we stayed there for a day. They told me that I was doing great. They also told me that my baby was good and that we could be discharged. So I was very happy to go home. And when the Monday came and I was supposed to go home, they ran some tests on my baby because they needed to make sure that everything is okay. So they don't mind, my baby is happy now, and the other big baby anasumbua. Usifanye hivyo mama. Enda kwa auntie. Enda kwa auntie. Kimbia. So they ran some tests on my baby. Na jioni badala ya kukuja to discharge, they come there and they start telling me that my baby's bilirubin level is quite high and that that my baby needed to be admitted for phototherapy or something. Okay. In short, walisema mtoto ako na jaundice. Jaundice ni ile yellowness of the skin. Na inakuanga hadi kwa macho because I could see kwa macho yake ilikuwa inakaa green yellow hapo hivyo. So when they told me that my baby was going to be admitted, to be honest, I cried because you know after giving birth you need to rest, you need to do the sitz bath. Na hospitali haikuangi that comfortable. So me, I wanted to go home so bad. And I felt like no, that what had happened was not the right thing. But I didn't have a choice because nilikuwa nataka mtoto akue poa nikienda na yeye home. So they admit us in phototherapy for the first day. The second day, they told me they are going to run another test after 48 hours to see whether the level had gone down. At that day it was 11. So I called a doctor friend of mine, akaniambia hawakufaa kuniadmit kama mtoto ako 11, labda kama ako 14 15 due the baby was just 2 days old. But I said that sitawaleta ujuaji. Madaktari wanaweza kwambia unaleta ujuaji hapa mama wewe na you don't know what you're doing. So nikasema let me just surrender, let me just do what they are saying. So mtoto akaadmitiwa, wakaniambia after 48 hours of phototherapy watamfanyia another test. So after 48 hours wakamfanyia test, wakaniambia imepanda from 11 to 17, sorry. And I was like no, sikai kwa hiyo hospitali. So at this point I'm panicking and I'm so bored, I'm like desperate because I don't know what I'm supposed to do and I feel like I should go home. So I talked to my husband, nikamwambia mimi this thing of staying in the hospital with no change sitabai. So we talked with doctor friends of ours, wakatuambia like tuitishe tu transfer tupeleke mtoto place ingine, and one of the doctors told us atatupea a remedy to the jaundice. So that is what we did. Sasa ilikuwa 4 days in the hospital already. So like mimi I felt like I wasn't healing as a person. Mimi mwenyewe sikuwa na heal because I was in stress. I was stressed and the baby was in the light all through. Hiyo light sio painful, but the fact that alikuwa anakaa hapo throughout ana sweat ilikuwa inanibo sana. Like I felt like no, we need to get out of this place. And at some point, to be honest, I felt like mimi ni ule mtu na feelingi like I have power and control over situations, but at some point I felt like no, I had lost my locus of control. Na we decided to go home. We got home, tukaongea na daktari, akatuashua mtoto atakuwa poa. A lot of light, aote jua, sunbathing twice a day, asubuhi mapema na jioni. So we did that na the baby became fine and she's doing good now. The jaundice disappeared. It takes time, to be honest. It takes time. Juu hata mdomo, this lining of the mouth ilikuwa na hard stuff yenye inakaa yellowish, but ina shade inarudi tena, ina shade inarudi tena hadi time yenye alipona kabisa. So one thing that I must say in the whole situation and the whole birth and delivery situation ni I realized that without the right support you can fall into depression to start with because you are always stressed. Aujapona, uko hospitali haikuangi comfortable. I also had my first child, alikuwa nyumbani, alikuwa anakuja hapo osi, haezi ingia atuone. So alikuwa anakuja tu tunaonana, ananiambia you mom tuende home. At some point hadi ananiambia nipe mtoto niende naye home na wewe ukuje kesho, because I had all these ejections, like hizo sindano za drip. So she was telling me mom tuende tu home, chukua mtoto tuende home. She could understand. So I was feeling like apana, I need to go home hata nikuwe na mila, because so I was basically saying that without the right support a lot of things can happen. And sorry baby, sorry. And at the end of the day you need a lot of support, you need a lot of love, you need a lot of kindness around you and positive vibes, because it is not easy. It's not easy. As for me, I will say that it couldn't have been any better, or it could have been worse if I didn't have the full support of my spouse. If my mother-in-law wasn't there, because I'm telling you, these people did a lot of work. They were there every day, bringing me everything that I needed, encouraging me, telling me it's gonna be fine. We are going to take you home anytime from now. You're going to be healed. You just stay strong. We know it's not comfortable. You know, all the nice things. And every time they came there, they found me down. But by the time they were leaving, they left me like feeling much better, because my husband was very supportive. He was very present. My mother-in-law she's always the best. But this time, because she realized that I had lots of challenges, she she gives the best. She gave the best. She came at night to start with, and we stayed for over a month. And she took care of me and the baby and encouraged me, talked to me. Actually, she has taught me a lot of things. And she has strengthened my faith, because at some point she saw that I was not getting everything right, like I was giving up. And my sisters-in-law, they were very supportive. I will say that I am thanking them, and I'm acknowledging their kindness and the good deeds that they did. You know, at times we feel like, because this is my husband, this is my sister, this is my mother-in-law, like you feel entitled to their support. No, you are not entitled to their support. Actually, if they support you, if they give you all they can give you, you should be thankful to them. So I want to thank them and say that it couldn't have been easy without you, and that they made my journey wonderful. And I want to thank God, because some of these things happen to test our faith, and at the end of the day they make us stronger, because now I know that in every situation that I get into, that God has control, and I will always get through it, and life will continue. So thank you for watching this video. If you are new, mom, I want to encourage you. I want to tell you that everything is going to be okay. Financially, physically, spiritually, mentally, you are going to get through this, and you're going to be fine. You're going to be okay, and your baby is going to be fine. So if you're new here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, comment, share this. If you know any expectant mother, please share with them, comment, and let's meet again. Thank you.